Have you ever done something without really trying, and for some reason it turns out to actually work better than if you would have tried? Now, you didn't just get lucky. You see, there was this guy named Charles Bukowski, and let me just tell you, he's not someone you want to look up to. This guy was seen drunk 24/7. He was hooking up with every woman he could find, no matter how she looked, and he was just genuinely a loser. Charles Bukowski had one dream ever since he was a child, and it was to be a successful writer. But for most of this guy's life, he has faced rejections after rejections. His work was considered rude, vulgar, and just plain garbage. As these rejections and failures piled up, Bukowski couldn't really handle it, so he took to relying on alcohol and whatever drugs he could find to aid his depression. Bukowski worked at the post office, and with the money that he did get paid, he would spend it on hookers and just whatever sort of things he could use to distract himself. 30 years of his life went on like this. Now something magical happened when he turned 50. So you see, there was this editor. He might have been insane, but he decided to take a chance on Bukowski. He found Bukowski's rude and vulgar works to be interesting. Bukowski, realizing this was the moment he's been waiting for his whole life, probably the only chance he'll ever get, decided to quit his job at the post office and sign the contract given by the editor. Within 3 weeks, he posted his first novel called The Post Office. He dedicated it to literally nobody. Against all expectation, Bukowski's work went on to be a success, selling over 2 million copies. You're probably thinking right now, what an inspiring story of a true American who never gave up on his dream and fought against failures to finally reach success. But that is not how Charles Bukowski viewed his life. On his tombstone, he left a message for the world. Don't try. You see, even though Bukowski became famous and successful, his life didn't really change. He was still an alcoholic. He still was hooking up with every woman he could find. He was still gambling, and his life was still shitty. Bukowski didn't change his ways because he became successful. He was still the same person. Now, I'm not telling you to stop trying at life and waste your life away eating ice cream and watching TV. What I am saying is to stop trying so hard to avoid failures. If you had taken all your failures personally and tried to deny it and pretend to be someone you're not, you would have dug yourself in a deeper hole of depression and failures. You see, we humans are among one of the only creature who could process our own thoughts. But with this special ability comes a hefty price. Let's say you feel anxious, and now you're starting to realize how anxious you feel. So you feel even more anxious now as you try to stop that anxious feeling, but you end up failing to stop feeling anxious. So now you're even more anxious at the fact that you realize you were anxious and try to stop being anxious. The way to break out of this is to just stop trying so hard to deny your feelings. Well, how the hell am I going to achieve my goals and dream if I stop trying? Well, let's say you started a new project. Things are going well. You're trying your best to make everything perfect. You're getting everything right, and everything is going your way. Everything is working out perfectly, it's all smooth, but then all of a sudden something went wrong and the project fails. Nothing works anymore, and your hard work feels like it was a waste. This project was not for me. I'll just quit and do something else. Now, if you hadn't tried to make it so perfect, you probably would have been more comfortable with failures. And the thing with failure is, the more you fail, the better your chances are at succeeding, because you learn from the mistakes that you make. Problem you might face even before starting a project is analysis paralysis, which is when you try to learn everything you could, and this ends up making you not even start the project. You essentially fuck yourself over trying to analyze a problem rather than starting to solve it. This is where not trying can help you succeed. By not trying so hard to make everything perfect, you get exposed to yourself to the failures and mistakes and learn from them. Some things in life you can't control. By trying so hard to control everything, you're just gonna stress yourself even more. humans are not meant to be perfect. And by trying to be so perfect and not forgiving yourself when you end up making a mistake, you're digging yourself in a bigger hole and setting yourself farther away from success. Start looking at your failures differently. Instead of seeing them as mistakes and something to try to forget, see them as learning experiences. That's the end of this video. If you have any suggestion for further videos or just anything, comment down below. And yeah.